Hello guys, and welcome back to Rule the Waves 3 with our Austria Hungary playthrough. We ended up in war with Russia alongside our ally, America, who's also allied with Italy, who is not currently in the war, but may end up joining if they're still allied, so... This is fun because we entered the war with already having 6 unrest. If it hits 10 in peacetime, I think you just lose a lot of budget. If it's in wartime, you lose the war very dramatically. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But there's not much we can really do except keep going because we have a very limited fleet. It's designed for the Mediterranean. I certainly never planned for this. One of our armored cruisers, I think this is our main armored cruiser, has condenser trouble. Okay, that's just like a random event. At least we have equal subs. A light cruiser sinks an Austrian merchant in West Africa. West Africa, why would we have a merchant in West Africa? Can you just raid literally anywhere and you would accomplish something? Well, if you can, then I'll just put the subs I have, the limited subs, on prize rules, see if we get any enemy shipping, potentially. And I'll also resume construction on this ship, because we can afford that for a couple turns, and we want to get those battle cruisers kind of pumping out as soon as possible, ideally. No building up dock size, we're just kind of focused on this war, and, well, the very little, I suppose, that we can really do in it. There's a huge Russian fleet off of West Africa, and the Americans are really spread out, honestly. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. I kind of want to dare some Russians to just come in here so that I could fight them, but we'll see. The enemy sent out feelers through neutral nations about negotiating peace without border changes or reparations. Honestly, I don't want to take the chance to end the war now, but I'll just say fight on if needed. Negotiations lead to peace without compensations or annexations. Okay. With the war ending without any major battle, the Navy prestige takes a dent. Oh, that's fine. Naval budget reduced. We took 1 prestige. That's okay. That doesn't matter. We needed to get out of war. Oh, thank God, and our unrest has plummeted. So that's not a very eventful war, and due to recent war happening, we're probably not very likely to get another war, but that just ended the entire war in a very interesting way, and it got my unrest under control, so I guess I should be thankful. I basically traded 1 prestige to get most of my unrest disappeared. So that's quite good. And my actual balance hasn't changed. So I guess I also learned something about raiding, so that's nice. Also, I guess I'm building a bunch of unnecessary ASW now. It's fine, I'll still finish it because we'll need it in the next war. And I'll start phasing some older stuff out. Our protected cruisers and armored cruisers are becoming much less needed over time. And even our original battleships are getting so old now. Look at them. They're starting to take speed problems. And I know they have a way to communicate if something is outdated. But I don't see anything being marked as outdated yet. Okay, I found where it's supposed to pop up. It's right here. And O means obsolete, and so a couple things I know is that will give it some engine problems but make it worth less VPs, but that's probably around the time you should refit it. I know that the minesweepers will literally just get sold off by the government if they get obsolete, so I'll probably end up looking at those. I guess I didn't really need them so early. Well, now I know for my next playthrough. There were only 2 of them anyway, but as we get further and further here, we're going to end up needing some, but we'll take a look at that when it's necessary. I do have plans to do some refits to these protected and armored cruisers to give them a longer life, but we're certainly not making any more of these models. Certainly not. For now, though, we're really just trying to pump out these battle cruisers, and then I guess all this ASW as well. Ooh, dock size increased by 1,000 tons because of private shipbuilding. Thank God, because I can't afford to expand this right now. So I'm glad somebody else is. Getting some techniques. Germany's doing some rebuilding. Italy increasing naval spending. It would be cool if I could see the unrest of other nations. I can't see that, which is unfortunate. We have some breakthroughs on hull construction, on explosive shells. Ooh, better HE damage. Rebels in Guam have been defeated by U.S. forces. Have defeated U.S. forces. Guam has now declared independence. Wow. That's crazy ahistorical. It's not going to affect a whole lot, but that is still kind of crazy. Our first ever BC, which is really already outdated, has been commissioned, but I'll still probably make a full division of these things, because even though they're not the best armed, they can kind of serve like a light role as time goes on. And it's just like, I don't have the money to just have something built and then throw it away. You know, I don't have the money to pull that off. That's not really in my budget. So that one's done. We still have one building and one that had its construction paused for a while now. We will resume that. And oh, we now have things becoming outdated, including these minesweepers. So I know minesweepers next turn, these are just going to get sold off if I don't do something with them. It costs minimal money to refit these, give them two 2-inch guns on the side, which I can apparently do. Don't know if I should do turrets or not turrets, actually. Doesn't really seem to make a huge difference. I guess we don't have secondary gun armor, so let's just make it casemate and that should be fine. Two 2-inch guns thrown in, and then otherwise we're just going to do a pretty standard refit just to extend their service life. It's very cheap to do this, and it's just a way of keeping some minesweepers just here, just in case we need them. And I'll probably, when I do plan on building more, I will make better ones. So this will be the refit, and this should be good. Yeah, we can actually fit even more ammo, but honestly this is fine. We don't really need anything else. Let's go ahead and save that. Short range is fine. Want to go to the rebuild dialogue? Yes, but not just for this one. I would like to rebuild both of these as this. Very, very cheap. Very, very quick. We'll rebuild them. Again, we're never making any more of them, but we'll rebuild those ones. Everything else that is outdated is honestly just fine to stay that way because we're in peacetime and we don't really need to worry about that right now. So let's just go ahead and, I mean, we need some amount of readiness, but I don't consider this problematic enough. Spain and the USA have signed an alliance. So Spain, America's allied with me, Spain, and Italy. So basically, everyone I could ever want to fight is allied with America, and I'm allied with America. So that's just, what is this? What are they doing? Allying all the weakest European nations they can? And then I can buy a tech. Although, if I do buy it, my money might have some temporary problems. But I think I can maybe turn that around. I'm gonna buy it because it's a tech and I need it. Yeah, I can fix that, maybe. Research breakthrough, lots of breakthroughs. New research discovered. Ooh! Expect promising results. Okay, we're soon to discover how to make blimps. Apparently they signed an alliance twice. That's weird. So, limited money. But we just got into peacetime. We have, like, no tensions. Let's turn off. Stop all training, lose benefits. Okay, yeah. Just stop this. Training applied in 1 month. It will take a month to even apply that. But we'll stop that to gain some money. We will halt construction on this battlecruiser for right now to kind of fix it up right there. And then that should be good. And that should give us some more money. Industrial production increasing probably again leading up to World War I. Another battlecruiser is commissioned. And we can see the deets on a battlecruiser under construction in Spain. 18,100 tons, 6 11-inch guns. That's less than we have. But they have more secondaries. 14 6-inch guns and 12 3-inch. Overall, ours is still less armored, but their armor, or less armed, more armored. Our armor is way higher than this, and our speed is still higher, so this battlecruiser of ours would actually be pretty good against theirs, funny enough. Armor development is progressing. There you go. Tension with Italy increases due to historical enmity. I mean, I don't know if I even want to right now, given that they're allied with America still. Like, that alliance would have to break. That alliance would have to go away. Oh, tensions are immediately building up again, even though wars have just kind of ended. If a player war ends, I notice tensions everywhere go down. But Great Britain and Germany are at 8 tension already, which is kind of funny. Okay, we have positive money again, now that we've done what we've done. So we can go ahead and resume construction on this BC. This will be our 3rd BC. And I do want 2 more. I want a full division of this, just filled out, this battlecruiser, before I start doing anything else. Let's get our first ever battlecruiser division started and going. That should be good. We can definitely afford to start building another one, so we will start building another one right now. And then we only need to pay for 1 more, and hopefully as all this stuff finishes, we could somehow get the money to do that. I do want more coastal defenses building, some bigger guns than just the 6-inchers. I'm thinking 12-inchers as well, to kind of pair. I don't know how many. I really don't. We have like 4 6-inchers in our main location, but Dalmatia is more important, quite frankly, because I don't really know that anyone would ever be deep into that area enough to run up here instead of to the Dalmatian port. So this is the most important place to fortify. I'd like to get a similar amount of 12-inchers as we have 6-inchers to kind of pair them together. 1 for smaller targets, 1 for larger targets. Not turreted, because turreted is too expensive. 12 is the biggest you can build without turrets, from what I've seen, and 12 is also just the biggest that we can build in general. But I think we're good to go to the next turn. And finishing working up. Corvettes finish their reconstruction. Acquire knowledge of double torpedo tube mount from Russia. Oh, nice. And Russia found out about it, and they're extremely upset. And we found a spy from America. I'm just going to handle that quietly and discreetly because they're our ally, and we still don't want more budget increases. Our unrest is going down, actually, so maybe we could afford a budget increase or 2. But still, don't want to chase any budget increases, sir. Wouldn't that be funny to go to war with Russia again? I like having low spies spread out. I think it actually works out pretty well. Well, that's a really interesting discovery. I guess blockade value seems to be by class and whether or not something's outdated, maybe how old it is. The newest pre-dreads I made still had the same blockade value as my older ones. Battlecruisers immediately have more blockade value. That's really funny. That's really funny. Okay. Wow. Neat. Tensions between Germany and Britain seem to be going down. Probably because there was just a war. We have like almost no tensions with anybody. 8 corvettes have been commissioned. Our ASW corvettes that I was putting together are being finished. They're working up. What's the maintenance on these? It's very, very low. We are now the only nation in the world that doesn't at least have our first dreadnought building, but I really just cannot fit it into the budget right now while keeping us capable. We still have the smallest destroyer fleet. We still have more protected cruisers than Spain. Armored cruisers, we have the smallest fleet. Pre-dreads, we have more than Spain. And that if you include their dread, we still have more than Spain. Battle cruisers, we're not shirking on, but we're like tied with Spain and okay, we're ahead of Italy. It's so hard to stay ahead with this budget. I picked a really challenging nation to start. I can't even imagine playing Spain or China. That sounds so crazy, but a lot of it's up to RNG. We can afford some more construction here, as we can see. Nothing is paused. We're about to get even more money. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get that final battlecruiser for this class building. And then that should be good. That'll take something like 2.5 years to build, but that's the last one we have to pay for. And then our first battlecruiser division is set and done. And then I'm going to look at retrofitting for different purposes, let's say. A lot of these older cruisers, which are becoming increasingly outdated because battlecruisers that are being made now, they could chase down and kill the armored and protected cruisers both. So these need to either be like phased out or pushed into different roles, I think. Battlecruiser finished working up. The remaining corvettes have been finished. Ooh, Japan and Great Britain signed an alliance. That is historically accurate. Let's go fight them. Let's go fight them in Britain. Come on, America. We could do it. America, Italy, and who else? Who else was it? That's Spain? Like, dude, we could be an Omega alliance, right? Although we have, like, no tensions with Japan or Britain. But interesting to see this web of alliances leading up to literally the timeline of World War I. That's quite historical, isn't it? And I guess our actual... Oh, no, we finished corvettes. I was like, where are we getting extra money from? Well, I just saw where we got extra money from. All right, well, 3 battlecruisers building. That's all we can really afford right now. We do have a little bit of extra funds, but nothing that I would call enough, not to mention we don't even have our training priority on. This is so expensive now. This is like the cost of producing probably some sort of armored cruiser. That's a lot, and this is for a 10% increase in accuracy of gunnery. So like it's worth it, but it's also just, it's so hard to afford for us, for this. Ooh, for this nation. Okay, Italy lost their alliance. That's good. Maybe I can actually fight Italy now. And then bring America to help me. Oh man, I kicked their ass this time. Unrest is at 0. That's good. Very happy with that. Tension with Italy increases. America reduced. That's really good. That's really good. I want to build this up even more. I would like to build this up even more. What can I do in that respect right now? Not a lot. Not a lot. We're basically paying for high on one nation of spies. Let me try to get that to medium. Because now that they're not allied with anybody, and they are maybe not going to be the easiest to fight, but if I have America as an ally, and I've already kicked their asses, you know, I'm pretty sure I could do it again. My BC fleet is bigger. I've seen their cruisers and their crap compared to mine. And their destroyers, they're so easy to kill at the beginning. It would be a rough start to a war, because we wouldn't have America here, like, immediately, but it would be cool. Actually, America is still here. They actually kept a bunch of stuff here. 3 corvettes, 11 destroyers, 5 pre-dreads, and a dread. Like, no cruisers, though. What the hell? Looking at Italy's bar here, I think it's safe to say that Italy... where is Italy? Italy. Yeah, they have literally all of this in reserve or mothballed, because they only have a blockade value of 12. If that came out of mothball immediately, it would get slaughtered, even if our designs were technically potentially inferior. Also take the intel off of Spain, because we're having no luck fighting them, and now they're allied with America. Yeah, we're not going to be fighting them for a while, so that can help pay for more intel on Italy, who are more likely to fight. And I have some more busy work to do of assigning commanders. I've been running low on just everything, so definitely good to keep that Naval Academy going. 6 ships finished there working up, and otherwise uneventful. So I didn't even realize that I got this, but I can make light cruisers now, so I don't need to make any more protected cruisers, and that's good, because I was looking at refitting these, and my ideas for how to refit these to make them last a lot longer really didn't work, because I was hoping I'd be able to change the range, but you cannot do that even when replacing machinery. So I can still extend their service life, but we're gonna have to look at designing maybe an entire new, now light cruiser, no longer protected cruiser, potentially. Okay, so I've designed a light cruiser that I'm not entirely sure about here, but it's within the limitations of a light cruiser. It's got the max caliber. Really, it's kind of the same loadout we had on our prior protected cruiser, but 2 more of each type of gun. Hasn't really been any advances in those guns. I believe it has more ammo overall. It's definitely more armored. And instead of pulling out 23 knots, we're pulling 29 knots, and we're using oil instead of coal, which comes with some benefits and some drawbacks. We also have 2 torpedo defense, which usually you would imagine that on a bigger ship. But here's how I imagine this light cruiser. I'm building it pretty fucking big, as you can see. 8,000 tons. This is the max that I can actually make a light cruiser, because I want this to last, and I have a very specific role in mind for this. Role number 1, and this is really the main role, this is a destroyer killer. This is supposed to kill every enemy destroyer I see. I know in the battles, I always see the destroyers go off on their own, and would be a good way to kill them. It's covered in guns. It could bring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 to bear at a time out of its 10 guns if we're pulling a broadside. So that's kind of my goal. It kills all the destroyers that exist. Also, and I really invested more into speed to like make it last, it's supposed to be able to outrun battle cruisers that are made right now. The fastest one I've seen the AI build is 26 knots. Mine is 27. This can still outrun that. But also, it would be able to destroy all the protected cruisers that are out there in the world right now. And it might even stand a chance against some other things. I couldn't make the belt any higher, or it just becomes a armored cruiser, so this is kind of just how I chose to do it. I like this, and I think I'll save it, because we're probably going to need to replace our protected cruisers at this rate, and we can't convert them for what I wanted to, so this will just work So I'll do this. It will cost 2,706 to design the research study for it. 2 months to kind of go through that. I'm fine with that. And I might look through to see if anybody else has made any new light cruisers. I've seen protected cruisers all the time. Okay, here we go. Big. This must be a light cruiser. This must be a light cruiser. Oh yeah, this is a light cruiser. Max armor that they can get, 14 6-inch, 8 4-inch. So more armored than what I'm packing. Slower though. More emphasis on torpedoes. Probably, I imagine, less armor overall from Great Britain. Somehow, apparently, and this could just be false intel, they have a 4-inch belt. Designer doesn't even let me put a 4-inch belt. I don't know how they're doing this. It might be like a flat deck on top. I have a sloped deck. But 12 6-inch, 16 4-inch. So light cruisers everybody else is making is actually coming with way more weaponry so far that I can see. What about Italy? Italy is pretty important. They're the ones we'd be more likely to fight. 28 knots, so almost as fast as ours. Similar armor. I still don't know how you get a belt like that. More torpedo tubes, 14 6-inch, 8 4-inch. Yeah, definitely it is more armed overall. The way they're able to fit that armament on there is by, number one, being 1, 2, 3 knots slower than what I'm making, and also willing to bet that they don't have torpedo defense. I'm still happy with what I'm making because, again, I'm making it as a destroyer killer primarily, and it can definitely kill any protected cruisers made before this. Nations like Spain don't even have any light cruisers, and then a lot of the other cruisers that are in service definitely are worse than what we have going on right now. Now, I'm not planning on making it like this forever. It's just like while we're going into this new tech, I feel like it's an efficient thing to do. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm just trying to balance our budget to cover multiple things at once, really. And our battle cruisers are kind of following the same logic here, but we'll see how that all actually goes. 3 new ships finished their working up, and a world cruise for our young cadets is planned. What ships should take part? Newest, most powerful. Oldest is bad for prestige. Average is just nothing happens. We get prestige and tension here. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Get that prestige back that we lost at the end of that war. Torps are improving. They're always improving. The Jupiter is ready for construction now. Given the lack of upgradability of our own protected cruisers, we're probably going to just phase them out almost completely. Meaning we want to just build the best thing we can in the meantime. I really don't know if I'm going to upgrade armored cruisers anytime too soon because, you know, battle cruisers are just going to slaughter them. Light cruisers still have a place, and I'm just going with a very specialized role of countering enemy destroyers. Because realistically, that's what I feel like I'm going to run into the most, is enemy destroyers. Now, my destroyers can just fight enemy destroyers as well. That is an option. But we're going to make do with what we have. This is kind of going to be a replacement run, not an expansion run. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this first, now kind of getting obsolete, series of protected cruisers we made, which are now 11 years old. And we're just going to put them, we're going to mothball them, yeah. We're going to mothball them. That's going to destroy their crew quality, but that's fine. Just kind of keeping them around just in case something surprises me and we need them. I'm also going to slow down on one of these battle cruisers to free up some budget to go ahead and start building some of these Jupiters. We're going to make at least one run of these, one division, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, we've gotten some better 10-inch guns. That's neat. Maybe that could go into some kind of refit for these armored cruisers for really whatever they end up doing at this point. These new light cruisers, they're actually going to cost more than these armored cruisers do in maintenance, which I find pretty funny. And they're going to be very close in tonnage as well. I really am not sure what I'm going to do with these. I'm thinking just using them as some heavy trade protection since their maintenance isn't too bad. But I guess we'll have to see how that goes. We only have 2 more months left on one of these battle cruisers. We have 2 light cruisers currently being built. We don't have enough budget to really do anything more than that right now. I'm sure that we're falling behind in dock size. We are, yeah. I'm very unsurprised by that. But I'm not working on big ships right now, so it's fine, maybe. Close to mastering a number of things. Monthly balance is slowly going up, more than likely, with our economy. We finished that battle cruiser. That's good. Japan wants to buy explosive shells quality steel from us. No. No. I'm all about buying tech. Selling it, not as much. Damage control training. Improves damage control training enabled. Oh, wow, nice. Fleet cruising formation. Enables cruising formation in parallel columns for the fleet. Reduces the risk of submarine attacks. Okay. Is that something that I do? Or is that something that just happens in the background? I don't know. Let's resume construction on the final battle cruiser. That keeps our budget in a nice, pretty decently healthy spot. And then we're just going to keep going. We got some AP projectile improvement. Other than that, not a whole lot going on there. We need to throw in our most recent battle cruiser into its division. Yep. Tensions are pretty low, except with like 3 different countries. Russia, who we just fought. Italy, who we fought once. And France, randomly. But I guess I could see why, given, you know, where they are. France would absolutely destroy us. Our budget still, it sucks so much. The only one we could really hope to keep up with is like Spain and Japan. But that's only if we're mothballing. Like Italy's mothballing everything, so their numbers are just ballooning. Absolutely ballooning. At least it means that we have more a chance of running into old, obsolete, outdated things that we can kill for victory points while being less likely to lose hours. And that's where I think my speed designs kind of work. I don't know. With speeds increasing and being so important in this era, that's really the reason I'm focusing speed as much as I am. As we get into further eras, like where firepower becomes more important, you'll see me start prioritizing that more. I just feel like speed's important here, and I can't get everything. I don't have the money to, which is really frustrating, by the way. Oh man, 5+ centerline turrets on ships. That should be good for when we build our first dreadnoughts, maybe? I don't know if we'll actually go that crazy, but 13-inch guns researched. Interesting, okay. Otherwise, things just constructing. Got a commander to assign. Just assign this above average guy. Trying to keep those skill levels up. It's going to be over a year before anything we're building is done. So unless we get a expansion to our budget, like a big one, then there's not a whole lot that we can do for additional building right now. Someone's been promoted. Yep, off of a pre-dreadnought. We have any above averages? Nope. We have a brilliant. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and assign you. Sure, why not? We still have these outdated battleships, these pre-dreads. These ones especially really need to be replaced, but I'm doing the best that I can. Regional war imminent in the Balkans. One of our major arms manufacturers wants to step up exports to the likely belligerents. What's your reaction? Less tension or more budget and tension? I do need more budget at this point, so I'll take that. We're progressing on our submarines. We have a little bit more budget. That's not really enough to do anything. Tensions going up with Russia, Italy, France, Great Britain as well. Imagine we end up in a new war with Russia. Wouldn't that be so funny? During maneuvers, one of our ships has opened fire on a fishing boat from America, sinking the boat and killing several fishermen. Oh my god. I can offer a full apology, lose some prestige, or take a little bit of tension. Honestly, tensions are on the... like, they're all reducing, so I just won't make an apology, because 1 tension with America, or 2, yeah, it's 1. That's not a big deal. It'll go down, and it shouldn't be too problematic. We've unlocked SAP ammo. We might want to look into that. Oh, and we just unlocked airships. That's really interesting. We might definitely want some airships. It should be long-term affordable recon that we can use. Where, you know, I guess it makes sense. Where would we build it? Probably Dalmatia. Yeah, the maintenance cost, not that high. The cost to build, not that high. The monthly build cost, well within budget. Building one, you have to pick a port to build it at. Building it at our southernmost port seems ideal. It could probably cover all the way up here and theoretically cover everything down here. This is, if we have any, this is the most important one to have, so I'm definitely just going to go ahead. I'm going to build one of those there, and we're going to see how those end up working, because I don't actually know how they work. But coastal fortifications, it'll have 8 airships. Cool. They have at least a little bit of recon seems important to me, I feel. But I think that's a nice full episode. We've come quite a ways this episode, and I'm not really, honestly, I'm not happy with my fleet, but I'm just trying to min-max the very pitiful budget that we have compared to everybody else. And you know, all the wars keep ending with white peace, including that one we were winning against Italy, so I haven't really gotten much of a chance to expand or grow from war. So, but I hope you guys are enjoying. I'm definitely learning a lot from this playthrough. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.